Morning, everybody. We are Signal Centre talking ball. It's the 12th of January today. I'm John Abram. I'm joined by Ian Coleman and Steve O. Good morning, guys.
Good morning. Yeah, Steve O. I'm sort of getting down with the youngsters.
Like it.
Yeah, just marketing myself a little bit, just in case.
Your TikTok name.
Yeah, no, I'm not doing all that social media stuff. Just this is it. This is about
So
as far
like
as I
old
go.
hat that. If Trump can't do it, why do it yourself, eh?
Yeah. So has he been banned off Twitter now? Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kicking up a bit of a fuss today.
And
That's
Facebook.
main headlines. Germany and France have both objected to the decision, saying that free speech rules should be overseen by the government and not a private company. So shares in Twitter and Facebook have both come under a bit of pressure because of that. There was some news I saw today that or the FBI apparently expecting riots in the days leading up to the inauguration in all 50 states, apparently.
Bloody hell.
So, that could be very messy. I don't know what's the date of that. It's not far away. Is it 10 days or so?
Yeah, something like that.
Batten down the hatches then.
Yeah.
He's not going quietly, is he? But he never was going to, was he?
Definitely not. And I hope they don't get a new strain over there, because if all those people are out together, then it'll spread like wildfire, won't it?
Will it do us a favour?
Well, I don't. No comment. In the UK, we've been warned that we could have tighter lockdown restrictions if people fail to follow the rules. That was directly from Boris Johnson yesterday, and then he appeared to directly undermine this by going out for a 7-mile bike ride. Have you seen this, gents?
Yeah, I saw that.
Classic Boris, though. One rule for one, a different rule for another.
Yeah, well, he's the Prime Minister, so maybe he should have some privileges, surely.
It doesn't set much of a precedent, does it, really?
Yeah. I mean, if I was in charge, I'd do what I want. I think that's what most would do.
Yeah.
And then sort of like, get the minions to just follow rules and do what I say. I think that's the whole
as I do.
Yeah.
Oh well. I don't think anybody's surprised by that. I know a few people are a bit in uproar about it, but certainly not a shock. And the other news with regards to the US and the presidency is that although the Democrats are going through the impeachment process, they were hoping that Mike Pence, the vice president, would enact the Fifth Amendment or 25th Amendment, is it, or something?
Yeah,
whereby
25th,
he would kick him out. That's it, 25th. Fifth's the guns, isn't it?
Yeah, I think he uses the 5th to do the 25th or something.
Yeah, okay. Get out. So it looks like he's going to continue to work with him until the end of his term, which, let's face it, we haven't got much longer to go, have we? Then it'll be a free-for-all, I imagine, on trying to pin him down for all sorts of misdemeanors and crimes, potentially. Anyway, let's get on to some markets. Any comments or generally or otherwise on what happened yesterday in the markets? Any view either way?
I'm sort of I don't know if we want to start with indices.
We've had to share your screen if you can, Steve.
Okay, here we go. How's that? Get it?
Yeah, lovely.
So a bit of a turnaround yesterday in indices. Looking at the daily chart on FTSE, we see this bearish engulfing. We see this candle on a few of the indices, and it sort of does make me wonder a little bit. We've obviously got yields breaking above 1%, the US yields. That's positive. Not for obviously indices, that's negative for stocks, but obviously positive for bonds. So we're getting this little bit of a move, maybe highlighting a potential for a correction. And obviously you're getting the dollar strength as well, tying in quite nicely, and gold weakness. So you're sort of like getting sort of like a couple of dominoes that are starting to topple. This could all lead on to an equity domino toppling effect. We picked up I think it was in CAC yesterday, formation, and it broke down quite nicely, retested the neckline, pushed above it a little bit, and it's breaking lower this morning again, so it's below the hourly Ichimoku cloud, which is negative. You've got a sell signal on the cloud there. On the Dow Jones, the US, it's holding at the moment, but it's testing this support level, which we saw it so it's recovered sort of from 2 o'clock yesterday, held up, but hasn't managed to recapture ground above the 8th of Jan high. Nasdaq as well in the Ichimoku cloud, so it's a bit of indecision. Normally there's usually a battle goes on between bulls and bears when it's in the cloud. Again, this is on the short-term chart, the hourly chart, but and the same for S&Ps. So I'm the level I think there's a couple of levels to watch on the S&P on the short-term charts. 37.83, a break of that. And this will show some type of head and shoulders formation with the head here, neckline. So a break of that neckline could be negative. And again, remember that's short-term charts, but they're all sort of governed by these bearish. I mean, that could be a bearish outside candle rather than a bearish engulfing, which is even more negative. So potential for a little bit of ooh-ah. What's going on? The Aussie 200, obviously this is a very impacted indice from commodities, which are under pressure. The Japanese, the Nikkei, not quite as bad. It's held up quite nicely, but there was a holiday over there. China has bucked the trend. It doesn't give a shit. It's going higher. So, and Hang Seng as well. That's looking pretty positive there. Obviously they're talking about a bit more of their markets opening up. So China and Hang Seng are bucking the trend on the indices. And just have a quick look at how gold has fared. Obviously we've got this we saw this bearish outside candle on the daily chart last week, and this has led to further negative price action. We broke down again, got down to the 18 level, which we did on the 14th of Dec, and reacted higher from here. And so we've had a positive start to gold this morning. So and I expect resistance can continue from 1865 all the way up really to the 1900, but maybe one level to watch is the 1887, which is a little bit of a cloud thing to watch. Copper has also posted an evening doji star formation. Now copper has had a tremendous run higher, but obviously, this looks like a sort of like we're in the fourth, fifth wave, so we could get a bit of a correction here. Really have to see a break of 343 in copper to sort of like to confirm that correction, and again we'll find cloud support. So not a straightforward option. Gold, oil has pushed a little bit higher this morning. Let's get rid of that one. We don't agree with that one. That was the one we did yesterday, wasn't it, Joe? So it looks like you won that battle yesterday. I think I was winning for a while, then you were winning for a while, and then we just sort of called it a draw at the end, I think.
Yeah, if you like.
Yeah, that's about it for me.
Okay. Any of you going to tackle Bitcoin this morning?
It went down 10%, and now it's up 10%, isn't it? It's basically 10% a day.
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking at the hourly chart, and I'm just wondering whether or not this is going to form.
Yeah, I like it.
Your left shoulder's a bit wonky, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it's had this big old overshoot down here, so it's certainly not a perfect one. It would be a lot more slanted if you were to draw it exactly. So maybe something more like that. I prefer the symmetry of the other one, but
yeah.
Could be something.
That's
like
yeah.
that.
Actually, I quite like that one, Joe, because
To
it's sort
break
of
of
like
that.
yeah.
Maybe
Yeah,
it's only an hourly chart, so
gun to the head.
So 30,000, that's the level, a key psychological level. Obviously, you get sort of like once it breaks 30,000, all the zeros, people are panicking out. You know, get me out.
You could
Well,
get 30
don't
R
forget,
on that
people can
today.
only sell it as well, can't they? With you know, if they've got loaded up positions at
Yeah.
online brokers. Obviously, there's people that are holding it on the crypto exchanges. They're fine, but if anybody, you know, if there's a rush to the exit and people are worried that it's not going to go back up here, this will be the area that they fold. I would have thought.
Yeah.
You know, and it could exacerbate the selling quite dramatically. So maybe something to keep an eye on. I mean, if you're selling it there with a stop above the high that we've seen over the last couple of hours, is very decent risk reward on that. Down to the neckline.
I'm going to say, what's the measured move? I bet it's ginormous, isn't it?
Yeah, and even well, if we go measured move, then from the head to there. Oops, missed it. 18,245.
Now that's not a bad level to target as well.
All those people that have had crypto tattoos are going to be.
See, that's a good level to
You've got to be
target.
careful about criticising Bitcoin on here because there's a lot of die-hard followers.
Yeah, that's all right. They can
stop
follow
watching
it.
us.
Yeah,
All 5 of them.
they won't
look
get
at that. Is that
it lines up with a
61.8%?
61.8.
Nice.
Look at that.
That's
It's
yours.
written, isn't it? It's definitely happening.
If only we could short it.
Joe's going to from the gun to the head.
Well, I'm not allowed. It'd be pointless, wouldn't it? Because you can't get a trade on, can you?
You can if you've got a bit of if you've got Coinbase or whatever it is.
Can you take short positions? I don't know. Anyway, that was of interest. Ian, I'm taking up your.
No, you
FX
two, you
chart
feel
here.
free, mate. I've got nothing to talk about.
Okay, we'll have a go anyway.
Okay, they're good levels there. 18,000. Obviously, the previous swing high that we all talked about for ages was just below 20,000. 18,000 looks like a great target in my eyes. And really, that sort of correction could happen in a few minutes. It's not sort of something.
You don't have to hold on to it very long, do you?
No, you could. You know, I mean, for the risk reward, if you have got some Bitcoin, the risk reward is pretty good. Have a sort of like, you know, you've got a 100-point stop against a potential sort of like 1,500-point move. Brilliant, love it. Love them sort of risk reward trades.
Let's see if I can get it on with my broker.
Careful.
Anyway, Ian, talk away.
Let us know.
I don't make any mistakes.
I'm going to say, what's the spread anyway? But the spread's huge, isn't it?
Normally it's about 100 points, 90 points on IG. I see the spread. I think that's you can only close only, but yeah, still set quite a lot of quite a big spread.
So a decent move up in the dollar index. You could sort of look at this as maybe a reverse head and shoulders. So left shoulder, head, right shoulder. It's broken to the upside, but we have stalled at this 78.6% fib, and we've still got this gap open as well from the 8th into the 11th, so over the weekend basically. So I think this gap's going to be closed, and I think we're going to move down towards these previous support levels before a continuation of the dollar trend, which should mean risk on, but we'll wait and see. Reflecting that back onto the FX majors. Where am I? We talked about this yesterday. Wedge breakout, measured move target's not far away. I think there's a very good chance you're going to get a profit-taking bounce from there. And then I think as far as euro dollar is concerned, turning into rallies up around here, which is the previous resistance level, and potential left shoulder. So left shoulder, head moving up, form a right shoulder, and then move to the downside. Sterling dollar, it got to a 50% fib yesterday. Looks like a channel formation. And again, I think rallies will be sold into. What you should know if you're looking at symmetricals is fib retracement, blah, blah, blah. It could get all the way up to here, which is 136.75. So I think there's, if you're looking at dollar longs, I think it's basically time to sit on your hands today. If you're not going to pay the correction. I think here we've got a 5-wave move to the upside. It's a previous swing high. This is dollar Swiss 4 hours. I think, again, that's looking like decent long opportunities down here. It's acted as support numerous times, and reverse head and shoulders to left shoulder, head, and then coming down for a right shoulder. Dollar yen's looking a bit overstretched. I still think that the main focus is going to be down here, 102.50 area. We did get close to there. We got down to 102.59, but I think as far as sort of short-term charts are concerned, we're getting into sort of an exhaustion zone. As far as DMARC is concerned as well, which I should have mentioned on the dollar and these lot up here, virtually all of the dollar majors are showing what's known as perfected 9 counts, which normally means that you'll get a correction to the other side. Dollar CAD.
What time frames? Multiple time frames?
Yeah, multiple. If we go into here, so this is dollar yen. Sorry, they're not very clear because it's normally on my bigger screen. This is 3 hours, 4 hours, 8 hours. There's a bullish one on the weekly, so that's sort of highlighting that the long-term bias should be bullish, but the short-term bias should be bearish. And then if you go to euro dollar, there's one here, 8 hour, 4 hour, and again the long-term picture looks quite bearish. You've got a monthly perfected 9, so that's basically highlighting that a top could be in place, but these short-term charts are highlighting that you could get a decent move higher before this. Hopefully the top will hold, but it's looking like a short-term correction basically. Cool. And you got to remember, if you're trading DMARC, then it's got, if you do see perfected 9s, don't think it's just going to take off. Sometimes it does take off straight away, but these candles have got 4 candles before sketch in there somewhere. I'm just waiting, I'm waiting for that before it makes a move higher. So if you look here, the 9 count is here, and this is an 8-hour chart. So you could dip lower today, only to then move higher, and here dip lower to then move higher.
Have you found a new setting there that's printing the P9Cs on the chart?
No, that's me. That's what I do all day, every day. I get up at 4:30 to make sure, 4:30 I'm up in the morning, just make sure that you've got all of those.
Bless him, bless him.
Yeah. And here I can't, dollar CAD, I think we're going to move all the way down to here on dollar weakness before a potential move higher. Aussie dollar, we mentioned this yesterday. We said that there's because it stops at 50%, that this confluence area here, and it just missed it by a couple of ticks, which was 63 to 60, formed the symmetrical pattern. Again, I think with this pair and with some of the other commodity pairs, you could see quite decent corrections because they're risk products. So sort of up to these sort of levels. Again, I'd look for reverse head and shoulders patterns if you want to sort of look at selling into these rallies. Euro sterling, can't really get a grip for it. Are we going to make a reverse head and shoulders pattern? If we do, then sort of 89.51 sort of prime support down here with a low risk stop, obviously below the potential head. And euro yen, it got a move to the downside yesterday, but then just consolidated. I think if we get down to this level, which was the measured move target, then we're going to get a sort of bounce back up to these highs, 127.22. And again, looking at the yen products, as far as DMARC is concerned, most of the higher time frames have got P9s, so it looks like a top's going to be in place, but I think we're going to get very choppy price action this week, and we'll wait and see what Trump does as well.
Yes, indeed. Okay, mate, that's great. So let's move on to the gun to the head stuff from yesterday. As Steve touched upon earlier, we both had the trades on the same market. We were both looking at oil. And Ian, you had back-to-back wins on euro yen, which is nice. 1.28R at the close. I had 0.37R on oil, so not amazing. And Steve had a stop on oil. So yesterday we made a tiny bit of money. Nothing to get overly excited about. Still flatlining after that big decline. So again, hopefully this week with potentially some tops forming, that might mean that we can get on some decent moves if they play out. So who's got a trade idea ready for us today?
I've got one.
Go on in.
I'm going to go counter trend. I think everything's counter trend today, and it's only going to be tight. So I'm just looking for this right shoulder. So I'm going to get long of New Zealand dollar. Should move that across. New Zealand dollar is a 2-hour chart, getting long at 71.77, targeting 72.29 with a stop at 71.59, giving me 2.7 R.
Okay, interesting. I was looking at Euro New Zealand dollar. So
Look at that. That's fancy, isn't it?
So we had I was just playing around with this earlier and just it all sort of looked quite nice on the charts. It's only an hourly chart, as I normally look at for these. Had a bit of a channel going on. While I was looking at it earlier, just zoom in there, you could see it was having a go at trying to break above this channel and also maybe a little bit of a consolidation of a right shoulder. So I was looking at this maybe forming a bottom pattern and then breaking out to the upside. Measured movers up here at 71.07. So that was my trade that I was looking at earlier, but then it just sort of died coming into 9 o'clock. But maybe worth a look. Looking at sort of 4.7 4R from there if that plays out with the stop below those lows that we've seen over the last couple of hours at 68.99. But I was also looking at this Bitcoin idea, which if that plays out could be very spectacular indeed. So I think I'm going to start with this. You can get short trades on if you are trading with a non-UK broker. Now I'm not advertising that because we are FCA regulated and take those very seriously. So obviously make sure you're very aware of what that entails if you are not covered by an FCA regulated broker. But if you have an account elsewhere, then you still can get trades on Bitcoin. So I'm going to sell that at 35,537, stop loss at 36,847.
Thank you.
And I'm going to leave it fairly open. The measure moves down at 18,245. As Steve said, it can happen in a couple of hours with Bitcoin. You never know. More realistically, you could see it down to this neckline at 30,100 if some selling does pick up a bit of steam later on today. So that's my idea for now.
Good luck.
Steve.
Yeah, well, I was going to do that one.
Okay, well, I'll do the Euro New Zealand dollar if you want to talk through that.
No, we've got the up now.
Oh, sorry, mate.
No, I'm only joking.
Do it as well if you like.
I'm trying to sort of like look to see if there's any other one out there that's screaming out to be Nano is up 20%.
Oh, it's crying out to be sold, isn't it?
Yeah, sort of. I feel like
Ethereum looks quite decent. Similar to Bitcoin.
Yeah, I really like the Bitcoin one. Now, I tell you what, I won't do it because you're doing it. So let me look at something else. What I'm going to do with gold. Yeah, I mean, if we look at gold on the 4-hour chart, potentially we're forming a bit of a bearish flag.
Or a bottom.
So yeah, why don't I go for this one? I'm still obviously long term. I'm bullish on gold, but I'm negative on the short term. I'll bring my stop into 1865, getting short here at 1855. And I'll target a move down to 1820, around about that 1818 level we're talking about. So 3.5 R. Obviously, the measured move for this could be a lot lower than this. I mean, if you take it, let's just say the flag starts here rather than up there. You're looking at a move to 1766 even on a sort of like quite a. If you're taking the flag from up there, then we've got a bit further to go. $17.18. I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. I think we've got a couple of decent support levels. Obviously, the 1820. Then the next level is 1763. So I'll go for 1820. Selling at 1855. Stop at 1865. So a $10 stop and targeting a move to 1820 on gold.
Superb. Good luck, mate. News-wise, what we got? Anything in? I think we've only got US jolts from what I can see on the calendar, and so expected to be quite a quiet day, unless obviously anything happens in Trump land. You're on mute,
You're on
Ian.
mute, Ian.
I'm just saying, nothing. A couple of Fed
Okay.
speakers later on in the day, but apart from that, all
Okay.
very quiet.
Lovely.
Yeah.
All right, gents. Well, thanks for that today then. Good luck, everybody, if you're trading, and we will be back tomorrow morning.
Lovely.
Cheers.
Good luck, guys.
Have a good one. Good luck.
Bye-bye.